Hey there, Lights here. I wanted to start off by talking about how the whole ordeal about Bill Cosby and the fact that, for me, the way I view things, I don't see his situation as him falling um, from his heightened level. Because to me, it's all pretty much fiction. But on that same note, he hasn't, I don't think he can fall any further than what we already have fallen. Um, but this reality will have us to believe that we are just as bad as they are, just as bad as the beings stuck within this physical reality. When we know for a fact ourselves that um, there is nothing that we could do that would ever equiv- make us equal to all the things that the physical beings of this realm have done thus far. Um, I'd say the mistake is us falling and believing that we somehow could be um, the same. And that is pretty much, to me, when I think about that, um, it is something out of a science fiction movie. To this point, that we seriously think that we seriously still think that these people think like us. Hey, King Quest, how you doing? We still seriously think that these people think like us, feel like us, and are like us. But it just isn't. It just isn't it just isn't true. Um, we have capabilities that they lack. They don't have certain capabilities. And being that they don't have certain capabilities, um, it keeps them at a level of survival. When we think about slavery, we don't even have to think about slavery because we know that slavery never ended. It never ended. The fact that they needed to survive off of, yeah, a level way beneath reasoning. So the whole fact that they had to survive off of others to survive, just like I was saying the other day about the domestic cow or any domestic animal, and and in this society, the domestic animal compared to the wild is better. So it's always been better to have a Doberman Pinscher than to have a wolf or a lion. or um, some wild animal that is maybe out there and can survive on its own. So, this is how you know what's real and what's not real. Can it survive on its own without leaning on, hey, True Royal, without leaning and being codependent upon another being or another creature? Let's see. The cow wouldn't survive at all if it wasn't for farms, if it wasn't for towns with vets, or if the farmer was knew how to take care of the cow, if he medically, when the cow did get sick, because the cow is a man-made creature, just like the chicken. It is created. Hey, King Quest. So they cannot survive in the wild at all on their own without a doctor and a farmer feeding it. The same like this being that we are currently living with in integration. It cannot survive at all on its own. So that's why you see the system that we see it living off of. Now that's just my intro to what I really want to, my main thing I wanted to talk about was emotion, electric motion. That's what I call our emotion, electric motions. And I talked a little bit about how our emotions are boxed and labeled. Like we have sadness, anger, fear, and all of those emotions tend to be labeled and put into a box. But it's for a purpose. It's for a purpose. It's called control, for control. Energy and motion, yeah. It's for control. So, we know that we are in a spiritual war at this time. So part of that is knowing and understanding that as spiritual beings, and then some of us don't know that we're spiritual beings, so we're functioning like we're these physical beings. And we're functioning like as if we believe they think like we think, and it's just some of us are in a vulnerable situation as spiritual beings because we allow ourselves to be on that level and haven't woken up to recognize that the level that we've been on has been a sinking place, has been a dead end road, has not really yield anything from being on that level, and it really doesn't work for our energies to be on that level at all. And I'm going to read a little bit about this Science Daily article on emotions. Emotions, in its most general definition, is a neural impulse that moves an organism to action, prompting automatic reactive behavior that has been adapted through evolution as a survival mechanism to meet a survival need. Now, the the um the lower physical being, because I'm not going to say her name, family. The lower physical being in Dallas, Texas, that shot Botham Jean, our brother, she acted on her survival mechanism. The only people that are not allowed to act upon their survival mechanism is us. Is us. And it's obvious how I don't know if I want to say obvious, but it's more convenient how we are subjugated and they are in control of everything. And even if we do put people, even if we do vote, it does us no good, because we put our people in, we're still under the guise of their laws and rules and policies and stuff like that. And so when we recognize that, yeah, the tea tastes good. It's a tea that keeps you high energy flowing. Because it was getting kind of late, but the babies are asleep, and this is the only time I can get free. But and it's late. I'm only gonna do 30 minutes tonight, though, family. So what's IKR? So they are saying on here about okay, emotion as a feeling that is expressed through physiological functions such as facial expressions, faster heartbeat, and behaviors such as aggression, crying, or covering the face with the hands. You see, obviously, it's a control mechanism when you can label something and put it in a box. If they are natural to you, it's for a reason. It's especially when you're the balanced body. We are the balanced body. What makes us imbalanced is the fact that we are not in our elements. What I mean by elements is we're not eating the diet that we need to be eating. We're not, we're just not close to nature. We live in a box house. We drive box cars. We, everything, everything is a square box, If we don't drive to work, we stand in a box waiting on the bus, and we go to work in a box. And building. And there's a reason, you know, that we had TPs, triangle homes, and different other kinds of homes. We had cylinder homes. We had TPs. Obviously, the ones that were making TPs were from Egypt, obviously, because we made the triangles. So that's pretty much obvious that the natives were black. And a lot of things that have been fed to us in history, yeah, everything is a box. Everything that's been fed to us in history thus far has pretty much been just created out of their minds. It's not really the truth to who we are. And one important thing is they are able to have us believe, because have us believe that we are not native to a land. We are native to every land on this planet, just to let you know, native to every land on this planet. So I never, when I traveled, I never felt like I wasn't home. So the, you know, that's another way of creating a small box for people by saying, you're from this land, you're from this land. You know, they have come through into our lives and have dissected things and created things in these sections, boxed it up and labeled. Every continent is boxed up and labeled. It's all the way down to the type of people in their blood type. It's been boxed up and labeled. But natural thing is free. A natural thing is free. If you're born of a God, what people like to think, you wouldn't have a man labeling things and putting things in little boxes for his benefit only, and causing wars and causing destruction and lies and harming everything in sight. And doing this freely, while freely categorizing emotions and acting them out, but saying on that same note that these people are not allowed to. How convenient is it for them to act out all those emotions physically, but then say others cannot do this, you know, or have no, are not allowed to do this, but they can. See, this is more proof, if for those who don't see that we are dealing with an entity and not anything like ourselves. We are dealing with an entity. This is more proof that we are dealing with an entity, because that is a bipolar, off balance, imbalanced way of being. Very bipolar. Politics is bipolar. Politics is very, very bipolar. I knew some people who would change their last names and would change the party. I don't know what made them change the parties, but they would change back and forth between Republicans and Democrats. These were the physical beings. I'm talking about physical beings. Their last names would, they would also change the spelling of their last name as well when they changed from the Democrats to the Republicans. And that not all of them would change over. Some of them would change over, some of them would stay. And then some of them would change over, some would change back. And they would always be in opposition. Now tell me, does that sound bipolar, or is that something normal? Is that bipolar, or, and don't you think right now this society is becoming bipolar? Don't you see that this, I'm saying this society is becoming bipolar because you're dealing with two of the same things, doing the same thing, same parties. So it's just it's just a bipolar mindset, because the people, these entities, and are people who don't know who they are and are still into politics and still trying to see if they can somehow make something work that isn't, if it hasn't worked for us over the 400 and something years, then it's not going to work. If it hasn't worked by now, then I said it a long time ago. It's a circle. We keep going around and around in circles. Around, somehow we're going to have to get off the merry-go-round and recognize that we can do this on our own, separate. And but let me finish reading this anyways. Based on discoveries made through neural mapping of the limbic system, the neurobiological explanation of human emotion is that emotion is pleasant or unpleasant. Mental state organized in the limbic system of the mammalian brain, defined as such. These emotional states are specific manifestations of non-verbally expressed feelings of agreement, amusement, anger, certainty, control, disagreement, disgust, disliking, embarrassment, fear, guilt, hey gap talk, happiness, hate, interest, liking, love, sadness, shame, surprise, and uncertainty. They love, I don't know who they is, but the entities, let's just say that's the entities. The entities love taking the box of labeled emotions and utilizing them to their benefits. They love it. It gives them a sense of being God. you know, this God that they imagine, just another entity, just no different than what they are, another entity that is connected and in opposition of our experience, because we are um, we're within balance, and we are life, and we are chaos. We are what's natural. So the unnatural is in opposition of what is natural. The unnatural wants to control the natural for its survival, for its um, because the natural nature is more dominant and more I want to say more powerful, more higher. It's a higher energy that needs to be. It has to feel like it has to tame, or it'll be wiped out. Just like what we think on this level, the black and the white, the racism, because they come from that entity, they come from that energy. The low energy is what they derive from. So that energy is trying its best to survive, because it knows that once we become aware of ourselves, the sun has become aware of itself, and it's causing all this UVA rays to energy to come near Earth. So just like us, we're connected to that, and the more we um, rise up in energy, the quicker that would die out. That would die out. So that's why it was it had to be where we had to be tamed and under control. Yeah, when we separate from it, it's going to be a natural thing that has to happen. And we actually already started it. We already started it. But we don't know. We don't see it. Spiritually, it has started. Separation has started. And we may not see it physically yet, but it will manifest itself. It spiritually will eventually manifest itself out, because more people are becoming, wanting to be creative minded. All my life, I wanted to be creative. I never wanted to work like my mom and my father worked, to work for some people who don't even treat you right, or this, you're working in a place that people are, you see people are still full of this hate, racism, and all this stuff. So who wants to be stressed out in that situation when you know you dependent on that for your survival? So you get tired of living like the animal. Yeah, let he that have ears and eyes to see. Well, the eye to see. Yeah, you get tired of surviving like the animal. And all my life growing up, and I said I never want my husband to struggle like that either. I hated it when my father was put under pressure. I hated it when I saw my father put under any pressure. I was kind of like a little puppy that would come to the rescue if I was there at the time when I saw my father distressed, I would always want to help the situation in some way. And I was always there. And he, um, but like a father, they protect their children from those things. But uh, so when I got married, I I didn't want my husband to be like that, under pressure of anything like that. The situation. Um, I think it's true when they say that uh, that when your people are put through traumatic situations from the slavery days. I don't care if some of us may not have had ancestors that were put into the slavery. It's the point that we all experienced hate and racism in this country, regardless whether our ancestors ever lived on a plantation. So those feelings within us, I really believe, um, I can't think of the lady's name that did the PTSD uh, slave slavery PTSD. She talked about that. I to this day, I can say I still feel a lot of traumatic experiences. So yeah, Joy, yeah. So that when I listened to her speak, that hit me. Yeah, yeah, it's so true because a lot of my experiences, you know, derive from what my grandmother, grandfather, their parents endured. I can still sense a lot of that. And it it can be a whole, it's just we can never look to them for our healing of anything. We should have always been looking to ourselves. But the indoctrination of religion that they have fed us has pretty much gotten us to look outside ourselves. To this day, I have people that'll say, they would give God the credit when miraculous things happen and not understand that it was them. It was their energy. But indoctrination yeah, I seem free spiritually. I'm free, but physically I'm in bondage. Physically it's it's hell. And this is what this earth is. It's right now, this paradigm, it's hell. It's hell. Um and then the things that we endured, Gab, the things that we endured. It wasn't for me, it wasn't too long ago that my great great grandfather was killed in prison, you know, accused of something. I don't know what he was accused of. Kind of like the Emmett Till situation. Um, so that wasn't too long ago. And then, my grandmother, my grandfather, you know, their generation. And I was born in the 70s, but the 60s, wasn't far behind me the time I was born. It's still some things left over from the 60s and the early 70s when I was growing up. I mean, you know, and you would think that today would be better, but it really isn't. It's like a false sense of being safe or being okay to express oneself, but it's not. It's not. It's not at all. The false sense comes from okay, I'm gonna have to change over. Let me get my phone. I'm already live. I hope I can change over. Let me see. I'm live, but let me get on here. Okay. I'm gonna have to do it like this. Okay. Okay. Hold on. It looks. Hold on. It looks. Hold on. It looks. Dang. It looks kind of funny. I can't get myself back on my live from here without closing out. This is where we go dead. And I'm just gonna have to, I think, I'm just gonna put this charger up and do it like this. That way I don't have to switch out. It's gonna try to tell me I'm counterclockwise on this. Device back. Hold on now. I'm trying to get this. See, there's no such thing as racist or racism. There's only one thing named for it. There's only one name for it. And that's what I'm describing. Low energy that needs the higher energy being to be subjugated so that it can survive. Okay, I'm going to read this one more time. Okay. Emotion is that emotion is a pleasant or unpleasant mental state organized in the limbic system of the mammalian brain. I did not catch that. So it's the mammalian brain is the animal portion of the brain. So if we can get out of the animal portion of the brain, if we could stop allowing these, our energies, in which emotions is energy, crying, it's not, I'm not saying it's anything wrong with those emotions. I'm saying there's something wrong with labeling the emotions and putting them in a box. And part of breaking down the construct, these constructs of days of the week, months, years, holidays, even though we need to be aware of certain times of the year and certain times of the year, it seems like rituals are being played upon us, and it feels like our energies have been utilized in some way, some form or manner. Because I wanted to get into talking about how the um, the autumn equinox just passed this past Saturday. So we basically, what I'm saying is, all these emotions, we got to put them into the right side of the brain. We got to put them to use to what we're trying to make dominant is the right side of the brain, which is the non-animal part of the brain. Let me see if I got that image up here. Okay. It's the part of the brain that is more holistic thought, the right part. It's a design slash creative part of the brain, which is our true selves, because we are creators. That's what God is, a creator. Hey, King Wage. The intuition part of the brain, creativity, art, and music. That's what we are. That's the part of the brain we need to make more dominant. Now, our football players are the language, the analytic thought, and the logic. So they're functioning on the physical, on the animal part of the brain. So all that money has them locked down in the physical, where their chances are they're probably going to church. They're probably looking to a God outside themselves. And they're having all these problems in their lives. Because animals always run into something. They either have another animal trying to attack them in some shape or form. They're living that survival, that struggle, versus the right side of the brain. You can only be dominant in one part of the brain at a time. See, I may be talking like I'm logic or analytical, but I'm not necessarily reading books all the time to off of other people. So most of my stuff comes from meditation and comes from listening to other people. And I do some readings. Of course, I'm doing a reading now, but this, I don't I'm getting other things besides what it's actually telling me. It's giving me some clues, but being that I understand that this wasn't written by, one of us, um, I see through it, in other words, and like intuition in a way, like, um, and I'm not agreeing with this article because it still wants to put things in a box and a label. Okay. Defined as such, these emotions are specific manifestations specific manifestations of non-verbally expressed feelings of agreement, amusement, anger, certainty, control, disagreement, disgust, disliking, embarrassment, fear, guilt, happiness, hate, interest, liking, love, sadness, shame, surprise, and uncertainty. If distinguished from reactive, responsive reptiles, emotions would then be mammalian elaborations of general vertebrates, arousal patterns in which neurochemicals dopamine, noradrenaline, and serotonin stepped up to step down the brain's activity level as visible in body movements, gestures, and posture. In mammals, primates, and human beings, feelings are displayed as emotion cues. For example, the human emotion of love is proposed to have evolved from paleo circuits of the mammalian brain, specifically modules of the cingulated gyrus, designed for the care, feeding, and grooming of offspring. Okay, mind over matter. Yes, mind over matter. I'm a amygdala circuit counteracts pain-driven emotions. Two pathways in the brain converging at the amygdala regulate the anxiety and depression that often accompanies chronic pain, suggests research in male rats. One of these pathways may represent so basically our emotions, if we understand it, we control a lot of things. This is why our emotions tend to be, we have been put in a vulnerable situation for our emotions to be controlled. But with this understanding, we can change all that around and stop allowing our emotions to be controlled. And labeled and put in a box. because we should be freely able to express our emotions, and they should be able to work for us. They should be able to work for us. That was what our black magic was for. Black magic, and we still can use the black magic as well. But a lot of us have been prohibited from using our black magic because of religion. And religion has stepped and was created to as another form of control, to have us not able to act out of our creativity and use that creativity to release our energies, because we need the outlet. We need an outlet, and our outlet, that was our outlet, is black magic. I had always said that was our powers that we've been cut off from us. That was our protection. And now we see that many of the lower level beings have pretty much taken upon themselves to utilize, and we see many of them are voodoo priests and stuff like that. But voodoo was never meant to be used. We we don't take in consideration a lot of times that a lot of us don't know that we're operating, everything we do is at a low level. Everything we've been taught in schools is a low level understanding of this life we are experiencing. So when they talk about, okay, from our point of view, we need to tap back into our greatness. From our point of view, we look at the Haitian Revolution and we see they use great powers, but we don't understand that what works behind having that power, what we need, and that you cannot love your enemy, be of like mind with your enemy, and be out here because you're working off of a lower level. It's not about being racist. It's about, it's not going to work for you trying to, you can't serve two masters, basically. That's how I'm going to say it. You can't be wanting to be a god and have this powers to bust out of your situation, but on the same token being on the same level as your enemy, and empathizing with your enemy, sympathizing with your enemy, because that's pulling your energy lower. So those who have the mind that you can use, they put in our minds that you can use this stuff, this power, this black magic, with the mind of the physical low energy level, you know what I mean? The physical level, with the physical understanding. The physical understanding of, like, for example, like I can go out and I can put a hex on someone, or my neighbor down the street. And my neighbor down the street is another carbon-based person as like myself. But because let's say I'm in love with her husband and I want her husband, so I'm going to put a spell on her. See, that is working from a level that is dead. That's working on a dead level. So that is nothing but death. That is not anything that she's going to benefit. That's not anything that I'm going to benefit from, or nor is she, nor is the husband. You're going to put you giving a lower energy. You weakening something that is greater because you done pulled it down to a level that is death. So you don't have anything working. It'll, if anything, it'll work against. So people think, but there's more to it, the Haitian Revolution, than just what we know or we can understand now, because we're coming from an education that is a low energy education, or an understanding of things, everything. So we've been blocked from conceiving or from understanding those things. And we need to, it's important that we get back to that, very, very highly important that we get back to that. But it has to be from a higher level. And another thing is, our people, we get emotional about one another when it's nothing to be emotional about one another about. Because it's clearly, if you can see and you can hear, it's clear to understand that our people that are in opposition of themselves, they're clearly under what we call MK Ultra, or some kind of spell. I was once there. You was once there. We all was once there. So, I hear people, I had to get past it too. I had to get past a lot of things, because we have to see things from a higher point, because that's what we're trying to get to. We're trying to rise to a higher point. Yeah, our people are under MK Ultra. I used to be under MK Ultra. I would say that. I can definitely, now that I learned what MK Ultra is, I'm like, that's what will happen to me. You know what I'm saying? And I think it happens to all of us, mind programming. But, but, on that same note, we got to understand that some people are put into positions, and they will, it may seem like they are I don't think I learned this stuff. Let me see, how does it describe it? You have to want to take in. Yeah, you feel it. You have to open yourself up to, you are God. You have a higher self within. That's what's going to guide you, and that's what tells you these things. Discernment. Is it discernment? I would say greatly discernment. And it's a lot of waking up. It's a lot of recognizing and realizing. And like I said, You know, the ones we call coons and stuff like that. Um, they are first line of defense, whether we know it or not. It's evident because look at what happens to them. You know, the first line of defense, and I mean, we see what's happening to them, and we see what's happening to like his show got canceled. You know, they're out there on the front line. Is what I'm saying, and we don't even see it that way because we're thinking on such a low level, such a very low level. And the people got us in like that so that we can be separated from each other. But we got a lot of people on our front line in this war. And we, to, I'm just saying we have to strive to see above what is given to us, what we are made to see. Because what we see isn't what it really is. That's part of this, you know, this spiritual war battle is that we have been made to think that um, all skin folks are not kin folks. And we all just have a different, we came here and we made agreement contracts. So, you know, I don't, we're, you know, we're on the stage, we're performing. So, and in a battle, and they're on the front line. Um, so, one thing I understand is that we are accountable to our souls. You know, the soul hasn't done anything. It's the carnal self or the lower self. Yeah, I agree with chakras, but the realms, higher realm, um, they're all the same. All the realms are the same. You're just going from one dream to another dream realm. And for me, I just want to go back to the source. I want to go back and to God, to be back to my God status. That's what I want to be back to. I don't want to go from one low realm to another low realm. I just want to go back to this. I want to be freed. You see, because what they have done is they have trapped us, and so they have trapped us within the realms. You know, so where we, you know, I don't mind traveling the realms really. I just don't want to get trapped. That's my thing. Sometimes I sun gaze. Sometimes, very rarely, because you know, out here in Virginia, we got bugs biting you like crazy. So I'm try to stay from outside, even though I need more sun. The sun is my vitamin, so my vitamins been real low because I haven't been in the sun. But I do walk in the sun and just stay out there for like an hour. But here in Virginia, bugs like to tear you up, so it's like that's the only crazy thing. It's the bugs. But like Brett Carr, he did a video. Yeah, I already knew about. He did another video today about what's his name? Einstein. How, Einstein wasn't really, yes, these bugs are crazy. Yeah, Einstein wasn't really what they made him out to be. And you can catch Brett Carr's video on that, and also his video on how we got trapped into the realm. And he goes into details. He shows diagrams. He even has the video where they're trying to make us believe something, be lied to. That's what they do. They lie to us a lot. So I would, try to catch that. I really want to sit down and watch that because it's very, very interesting to me. Because I'm always trying to figure out exactly where did they lie, especially in science. In science is very important and critical to us because we're moving on. So we got to resolve and find out about all this stuff so that we can, in our next stages, that we can be more informed about, what's going on. And we can move to the next level, at that. But yeah, definitely, I do work on my chakras, definitely. But just today, I think I was listening to Bobby Hemmett about how our, I forgot what he called that seed down in our, um, that's where our soul is, like in the kidneys. You can tell that it's rising because he was talking about how doctors, they like to keep uh, keep our health in an unbalanced place so that we can't rise, but our soul needs to rise. So one way you can tell is the healthy kidneys. So I've been like having to release my kidneys a lot lately, and I can feel the rise, almost like I can feel my soul rising. And that's that's what I do. Definitely chakras are important, you know because it was important to our ancestors, so it's important. I go by the old Sumerian writings, uh, our ancient ancestral writings, Atlanteans, because our ancestors, one thing we got to realize is they were not human. And these people know that we are not human, that we're above this human state, you know. So it's nothing wrong with not. Yeah, chakras is energy. The I think the highest being the purple and the red chakras, or the red chakras on top of the purple one. I'm not for sure, but I can look it up and see. Okay. Yes, the purple. Okay, the red. Okay. So it's just, our chakras are just like, if you see a mothership, if you ever see a mothership, chances are you're looking at your chakras. You're looking at your own chakras. Unless it's a government built one. But if it's a spiritual ship that you're looking at, you can probably tell. Then chances are, and if you're the only one that sees it, chances are you're looking at your own chakras. Yeah, I saw the mothership. I saw it and it had I can show you. I'll show you. Let me see what I can do. Let me see if it comes up. One time I saw on the internet, probably so. I seen this ship and it had the same colors as a rainbow, a Roy G. Biv, and the same color as and I didn't put it together until it's unique. It was huge. I can't even, but I'll try to. I know I put on my Facebook one year that it looked like what it looked like. Um, it's hard to find it because they have all these different types of spaceships, but one I seen had the lights of the chakra colors, the chakra colors. And let me see if this is, no, that's not it. Let me see. It was right on top of the building that I stayed. It was amazing. Let me see. Mothership. Yeah, those light colors, yeah. Mothership, rainbow, lights. I'm trying to see if I can see it. See, you can tell the difference between the colors of the plant of like if someone man makes a mothership, you can pretty much tell the difference between what they made, man-made, and what is not of this planet at all. You can tell because the ones I'm seeing from the Close Encounter movie and from the V movie, it's just not. It's not the one that I saw. All these are not the one that I saw. I can't even find a similar one that's similar to the one I saw on the internet. I did at one time find one that had the lights kind of similar, and I used that as an example. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Here's one in Iceland. I'm gonna try to view this one. I wish it was nighttime, then maybe we could see it better. Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna turn my thing around here finally so y'all can see. Okay. Oh, I didn't want to end it. I'm trying to turn it around. I'm sorry. Okay, there we go. See, this is one that this lady filmed. Did you hear the lady crying? This lady in Iceland filmed this one. I wish it was nighttime, then we could probably see the lights and tell. But it looks like it's during the day and it's over water. Yeah, like an animation. Yeah. Okay. You hear her crying? Fearful. They naturally know, you know? They naturally know. It was a film. Hold on. Let me go back here. Let me pause this. Ring-shaped UFOs filmed by a woman in Iceland. Yeah, I'll send the link. I'll send the link. Let me, ooh, what happened? Okay, press allow to continue. It says children to open. This image now turn. Deny. Okay, let me go back here. Okay, there we go. This happened January 2018. What? Iceland, Southern Coast woman. Okay, this happened the beginning of this year. That would be nice. No, I didn't cry. But I'm beginning to dig more into my story because I'm beginning to think that because what happened was it was strange situation. I was in college and it happened in 1994 when we had the winter storm and no one could really leave the apartment. We couldn't leave the building. The snow was so high. The state was shut down. The state of Kentucky was shut down. Um, my roommates were gone. You saw the will? Yeah, you're gonna have to talk to us about that. Um, it was shut down, the state, and they had said we couldn't go outside, and no one could go outside. So I was like stuck in this high-rise building, apartment building. And I was doing my research paper on Area 51, UFOs and stuff like that. And as we know, a lot of us don't know, but I know for a fact that they control the weather. I don't, we think that these Caucasians control the weather. To a certain point, they're probably trying to, and they probably have succeeded at it, but it's a battle between the spiritual and the physical. Them trying to play God, and do I think it's God? Um, I think it's us. I think it's us. And I think it's the war is between the physical and the spiritual. The spiritual beings and the physical beings. You know, because we're trapped. You know how they do cartoons and they always have some animal, some person that became an animal. And it's through witchcraft that they were turned into that animal. I think that it's not, they always make, because they're physical beings, they make things like when someone does encounter what they call a spiritual being from another planet, another place, a dimension, let's say, they make like the physical body goes, like the whole physical body goes, because they don't have the they can't conceive that it's not their reality. Basically, for us, it's not the whole physical body that will go, it's the spirit, it's the soul. So where we may be getting taken away, we're not getting taken away physically, we're getting taken away more spiritually. They're being taken away physically because they are physical beings trapped. It is their reality. So when they see things, when they conceive things, conceptualize things, and they show it, like the person being turned to an animal, for us, it's energy. Our understanding, because we're spiritual beings, it would be more like energy being trapped within another lower body. So it's not that it's a human turned to an animal. It's not the human. It's the spirit of that human. It's the spirit that's turned to the animal. Off of the lower level, a lower energy spirit. Not, it can't be us. We can't turn to animals because we are higher energy that cannot get trapped like that. We can, although they say that we're we can get trapped inside dolphins or the sea mammals, but I don't know much about that. Let me. Yeah, January 13th, 2018. Yeah, I'll get this article. Matter of fact, let me see if I can save it or send it to myself. share post. This thing wants to give me a hard time. Okay. Share it. No, you're fine, Gap Talk. You're fine. You can ask me. No. I'm not gonna send it to there. Share it to Facebook, and then I'll copy it. That way I have it saved, and then I can send it. And then set to computer. Okay. Because I'm gonna look for some more videos here. Because what it is we are these gods that are, that we once had the capability of going back and forth through the that stream, that negative, positive, but we have been locked here, trapped here, and it's not. I think it's. And it's all because of the reversal. Yeah, it's because of the reversal from negative to positive, positive. It's been reversed to positive to negative somehow, and has entrapped us. Definitely check out Brett Carr, because that's why everything is given to us backwards. That's why south means up, north means down, and all that plays part in with the counterclockwise and the clockwise, because we should be dealing with counterclockwise, you know. Nothing should be in a box. Our living, you know, our living, they make like it's. No, I haven't studied Scientology, but I hung out downtown LA and right down the street from Scientology. And I thought about going, but thank goodness I didn't, because all the stuff I heard about it. But didn't want to get involved with anything like that. Okay, what's this video? Will in the sky, rainbow love. Okay, let me check out this one. Will in the sky, rainbow love, evil and claim. No, they're doing some kind of. They're doing some kind of music. No, thank you. Let me see if I can find another picture. Got it, Brett Carr. They look so small. I hope you all checked out on my video, the one I caught, because they're easy to catch now. They're out there. They're little black ones that are going by so fast that you can take a camera and videotape, and chances are now you would probably catch one, but you won't be able to see it in the video because it goes by so fast. You have to slow down your video. You have to stream through your video and look and see the ones you caught on there. You know, because the whole thing, the reason why it all is similar It's because it's all supposed to be, it's all originally is our ancient ancestors' writings, and it's supposed to be a whole. It's supposed to be one, but they divided everything up. Like I said, everything's divided up. That's why you could never say that you were really one thing as a black person. Our pieces, some of us have been dissected and split up into pieces and created and labeled and put in a box and sold to people. So I'm trying to see if I can find another. Another one of those somebody caught. They said page of UFO sightings. This is Golden Bean, Gold Mothership. I wish I can't even. Okay, what's this one? Fresh thoughts. Just so sleepy now. I'm sorry to hold y'all up so long. I'll show you one more picture and then I'll let y'all go. One more video. I mean, I'm trying to find this video. You can tell the fake ones, like, so sleepy. Try that one. Let's see. It looks something like this, but this looks like Hampton Coliseum. This is where down the street from where I stay. Hampton Coliseum, where they have concerts and stuff. But it reminds me so much of the lights, but it's just not, you can tell because it's not in position. It's not in the same position. It's not in the same position as the lights were. So that's just the stadium that they made, like kind of like a spaceship, but it's not the same. I'm trying to. It's frustrating. I can never find it. But one time I found one that looked like it. And it's, let's see if I can get it here. Some of them, they have the lights are just one color, but the lights I seen, it had the chakra. It had the whole rainbow, Roy G. Biv, chakra, lights. Yeah, but we have to do our part. We're doing our job. We're not failures, so nothing's gonna fail on earth as far as we're concerned. I know they're always saying that we're gonna win. I know this is we're gonna win. That's just the whole thing of it. It is written that we're gonna win. So um, I don't believe that. Hmm. I hate how they make the spaceships look so ugly when they make them. So they don't give it justice. They bring it down to a low level when they do them. That it just makes them. Because the lights weren't like, when you look at them, they weren't bright where it hurt your eyes. Yeah. Okay. They didn't have no light. They didn't have no kind of markings on them. I didn't see any markings. It was huge. It was over us. Let me see what this is. It had various different color lights, not just the white light. Okay, I'm gonna look at this. Is another. This is in Colombia. Let's see what this one is. Amor de la cámara de video, y no que es que Lorena es la que es capaz. Let me make this bigger. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Let me make it bigger. Let me go back here. Y no que es que Lorena. Amor de la cámara de video, y no que es que Lorena es la que es capaz. ¿Está teniendo el son usted o qué? Ella muy bonita. Ajá. What I need to do is look in 1994 and see if I can find that in Kentucky. Sí, es que... Ah, no, acá de aquí. No, pero es que también aquí. No lo está poniendo ahí. Aquí que lo escucha. Pero yo veo a ver de acá, amor. Pero, ay no, aquí sí se debe, doña Marta, miren no, acá cómo se ve diferente. Pero es que cuando ahorita se levantó era como una estrella. ¿Qué pasó? ¿Se perdió? Hmm. but I can't see. Okay, I can see some lights. I guess because the filming of it. I guess when you feel it, it does film it. It's such a spiritual thing that you can't really see get a good view of it. You know, you can't get a really good view of it. Let me check out. Mm, I'm gonna save this one too. If it's not, share this one, Facebook. That way I can send the links. Okay, and I want to check out this one. Check that one. Even though I don't know what it's saying. Doesn't look like, I don't think that's anything. No, I don't think that's anything. Okay, let me get out of that. Okay. Okay, let's go back. Okay, that was that one. I'm gonna look it up. Okay, Spaceship Lights, 1994. Cause someone had a camera. Someone had to have a camera in 1994. Okay. That's okay. Let's look at this. No. What happened? Okay. I wonder what they're talking about. That's a long time ago. That's not what I'm looking for. It's not even letting me, it is late. I am so sorry. Time has flew on me. But I'm gonna look, and then next time I'm gonna have to have it readily available. for you all to view. If I should have did my research on it a long time ago. So family, it's time to come to an end. Oh, I'm so tired. So with that said, family, thank you all. Let me go down this line and see. For showing up. Tylet, hold on. Tylet, thank you. Tylet, Cosby, King Quest, True Royal, Gab Talk, King Wage, yes, thank you, family. And remember, true love, real peace, and the higher self within the soul. And until next time, you take control over your electric motion. Let's develop more of our non-animal mind frame. And let us, as the Bible always famously says, come out of her, my people. And power is within the knowledge of self. And never stop seeking knowledge. And understand that what we see as our adverse enemies on this planet are actually just a lower energy that is trying to survive through us. And we need to just kick it off and combat this, because it has built constructs that we have to break up to break down this false reality. So with that said, peace and love, family.